Yeah, you now rocking with the most pop Knicks YouTube channel on the net. I am the objective fan, straight out of Kings County, New York City's finest. And you know the vibes, y'all. Yeah, round of applause if you now rocking with me, man. Oh, man. I'm sorry I missed the last week's pod, but we did do a level-headed Knicks talk episode that was fire. I mean, it was really good. It was a 3-hour show. I mean, that was like a marathon, but we talked about a lot of good topics. So, you know, after you watch this video, you could go back and watch level-headed Knicks talk. We talked about Brunson. We talked about Randall, you know, what's going to happen with him trade-wise and stuff like that. It was a really good show. And today I got another action-packed show for you. Of course, this is the podcast, episode 10. This week inside the New York Knicks, man. And we're going to be talking about most of the events that occurred between the 1st and the 10th. Salute to Maxine in the building early. I also got the chat looking right on the screen. I've been struggling to get that chat right, but it looks like it's a go because I can see the fire emojis and all of that. So yeah, we got the chat on the screen. Salute to me for doing that. But some of the topics we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about Brunson and the media. That's the flagship topic. Definitely going to get to that a little bit later. We're also going to talk about Donte's rating or rankings. And I think that it's interesting when you really look at these rankings. I don't know what these guys are thinking, but I'm going to talk about that a little bit later because I haven't really seen too many people talk about it. We'll talk about the trade rumors, if there's any. I really haven't heard anything credible, just crazy fan stuff. Maybe we could discuss, some ideas that you guys may have. I also got some more insight into the salary cap as well, and as especially in regards to what the Knicks can actually do. Because a lot of times people are saying the Knicks make these trades, make these signings, and they can't do it. What else we'll talk about? We'll talk about Steve Kerr and the Knicks, something that was interesting that could have took place 8 years ago or 10 years ago, actually. We'll talk about Melo, a couple of things with Melo. He was definitely over there. By the way, salute to Team USA for doing their thing and getting the job done. Even though they didn't have no Knicks on the team, they was bugging. But I'll talk about Melo's comments. We'll also touch on word on the street and a couple of more topics. Right now, this is the dog days of summer, right? So you already know on this pod, we try to cover everything. We cover the Knicks 365, 7 days a week. Give me 50 minutes, I give you the Knicks. So we try to cover as much news as we can, even on the weeks where there wasn't much news. But there are some interesting things we're going to talk about today. Trust me, this pod is going to be pretty interesting. So without further ado, I think I'm going to jump into research mode early. Let's do it. Organize my notes. All right, I don't want you guys to see that. All right, pow. So now we're in research mode. So I got an article on the screen, and I'm going to touch on, we lost our replay man, Scott King. He was somebody that was really pivotal in terms of us and our strategies. He definitely was one of the guys that helped us when it was time to challenge plays and replays and things of that nature. And, he's someone who, honestly, we lost a couple of people on the staff, but this move actually makes sense. He's going to the San Antonio Spurs G League affiliate team, the Austin Spurs, right, where he'll be looking to take over that. And that's an upgrade, even though it's not the head coach of an actual NBA franchise, right? But a G League job is a bigger deal than the position that he had, right? Because he was just a replay man. And trust me, him being a replay man definitely was important because he was able to help Coach Tibbs. I'm going to get to that in a second in the article, as we can see. He was well regarded in the league and in the Garden, right? He had not only risen to assistant director of player development, but he was in charge of the coach challenges, like I was saying. He advised Coach Tibbs, and he was the guy that was basically giving the thumbs up and the thumbs down. So this is an image of the guy right here. And definitely he'll be somebody who will be missed. Will be missed because the Knicks do a good job challenging, calls. So it'd be curious to see who they're going to replace him with in that circumstance, right? So in certain situation, we feel there's an advantage to knowing that you're 100% certain that you're still going to have one, right? And that's Coach Tibbs talking about the run to the Eastern Conference semifinals, right, last season. So King, he did a good job researching and challenging he did a good job researching challenge trends, right? So he was able to stay on top of that. A couple of other things, but you can read the rest of this article to find out more about him. I honestly believe that, this is what happens when you become a good team, right? You're going to lose pieces, right? You're going to lose people that were key or instrumental to your staff because clearly if you had success and you got some of the top guys in the league doing these things, then you're going to lose these guys, right? And this move actually for him makes more sense than the Johnny Bryant move, right? Because Johnny Bryant, he left the Knicks as an assistant coach to go become an assistant coach, right? So I'm going to move forward. Let's see what else I want to talk about. I do want to talk a little bit about Melo. I jump into Melo right now. Carmelo Anthony, couple of things. As you know, on this pod and just in the Knick world in general, once a Knick, always a Knick, right? So Carmelo Anthony, he definitely doing a lot of interviews, sit downs. He's become, kind of like the most talked about ex-Knick, I would say right now, because he's always, he has his own podcast and he's been doing a lot of things on media. So he was asked the question, right, about whether or not the Knicks can win the title, right? Salute to Knicks will be champs. 526. That man has the best Knick YouTube name on the net. Salute to you, man. I'm just getting started. You're in the right place at the right time. Just hitting a couple of early topics, things that may have taken place right now. I'm talking about Carmelo Anthony when he was asked. And by the way, Knicks will be champs. This is for you because you have the name. So Melo was asked whether or not the Knicks will win the title. And Melo said, I don't want to guarantee that, but I do believe they have situated themselves up to be right there with Boston and Philly. Big facts, right? Now, we know what we do with that is totally different because you have to go through Boston. You still got to be Boston, but I think everybody else got better, and the Knicks definitely got better for sure. We ain't worried about nobody else in the East. We're worried about Boston. That's it. And that's a big fact. First, salute to Melo for holding it down, right? Definitely very consistent in his commentary. I do appreciate his support. By the way, salute the coach in the building, right? Definitely salute the coach, man. You already know what time it is. New York City stand up. Right now, we just talking about some preliminary topics before. It's going to get hot in here. I'm just letting you know. I got some interesting stuff that we can talk about in the dog days of summer, right? So definitely, I think that I agree with Melo's commentary, even though, I hate Boston. And I know a lot of you guys, y'all don't like Boston. We don't like Boston. But at the same time, we got to respect them. They are the defending champions. They are the favorite, right, to be the number one seed. If you want to do an early championship prediction, Boston is definitely that team that I would consider, in terms of being the favorites, only because they won it last year and they pretty much still have their core team coming back, right? I think the one question mark is Kristaps Porzingis because, when we talk about KP struggles with injuries. And due to injuries this year, he hadn't gotten the opportunity to show what he can actually do in the postseason. People talk about Julius Randle, right? Julius Randle, same thing. I mean, he was hurt in one playoff series or playoff year, right? The other playoff year was his first year. He was kind of nervous, right? Bazi wasn't the greatest showing. But, and then last year, of course, shoulder injury, didn't get a chance to really perform in the postseason. So, I think Kristaps Porzingis definitely puts them in a quagmire if he can't show up healthy because he is that X factor, at least against us, right? And I don't know if you go back-to-back championships, if Kristaps Porzingis isn't that X factor at the stretch five. Not too many guys can deal with what he does on the perimeter. So, yeah, I think that definitely you got to consider Boston, even though, like he said, we're not really concerned about nobody else in the East. That's big facts. Let's see what you guys talking about. He said, was Randall in it? Was Randall in what, Coach? Are you talking about the quote? Oh, you talking about? Oh, I see. Okay, are you talking about Knicks will be champs' dream? He had the dream that we won the champion. Bro, Knicks will be champs. We already know where you stand, right? You honestly, you riding with the fact that we're gonna be champions in 25, 26, right? And then you know what? His name. You know what I like about his name is also situated. Whereas if we don't win the championship, he could say, no, I meant 25, 26. Yeah, salute Chaz. That's a slick name, man. He gave himself a 2-year window. Whereas if the team, doesn't win the championship, he could say that. But Of course, Randall's going to be in the dream coach. Randall's not going anywhere. And we could talk a little bit about Randall, too, if you guys want to. Just to follow up on that last show, I do think that with Julius Randle, there's too much unknown, right? I mean, we really unpacked that on level-headed Knicks talk. It's just too many unknowns when it comes to Randle right now. I don't even like talking about Randle because of the unknowns. Knicks Will Be Champ says, question for the chat. If you like basketball, if a basketball genie told you the Knicks are guaranteed to win at least one title in the next 10 years, if they traded Brunson and Randle tomorrow, would you make that move? I actually like that question, Knicks Will Be Champs. I'm not sure if that's your original question. I don't care, but I'm about to write that down because that will be a poll. I like that question. If the Genie championship, trade Brunson Randle, right? I'm going to say this. Because if you've been watching this channel, you already know what my answer to that question is going to be. First off, when you talk about me, I'm someone that is the objective Knicks fan. I know I'm off-brand with the colors, with the red and blue, but I just wanted to switch it up. Sorry. I got all types of Knicks hats and Knicks gear, So I had to go with the blue and red. But at the same time, I bleed orange and blue, right? And so I say that to say I am the objective Knicks fan. I am not the objective Randle fan. I am not the objective Brunson fan. I am not the objective OG fan. I am not a fan of no player, right? I left that alone a long time, right? In terms, especially Knicks. Like the last player I was really a fan of, that was a Knick, was Ewing, right? But I was a lot younger. Now, I don't really, I'm just a fan of the team. So anybody can go if we're going to win, including JB Smooth. I love JB. Listen, he's Captain 11. He's Captain 11. So do I want to trade JB? No. But if the Genie came to me, knowing the future, some sort of mystical, magical way, I got to make the move. I got to make the move. Because even though we have a great chance, like Melo says, right? I don't want to guarantee the Knicks winning a championship. And because it's not guaranteed, you're guaranteeing me a championship. I think that's the difference. But no, I don't think trading Brunson, nor right now in this moment, I also don't believe trading Randle is the answer, right? So just to answer your question, that's a good question. That will be in the poll this week. I like that question because I feel like a lot of people, they become too engaged with players, right? Like the LeBron James fans, what are they going to do when LeBron retires? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you going to do when LeBron is gone? Great question. I don't know. Of course, we talk a little bit about the schedule. Let's see. So you guys probably already know that the Knicks, they got the Christmas Day game against Wemby. Wemby will be coming to the Garden on Christmas Day. I thought that was interesting, right? They also announced the preseason schedule, right? Which I got that on the screen right here. And so preseason, we got Charlotte, Washington, Minnesota. We knew about the Minnesota game because Minnesota, when they leaked out their schedule, we was on their schedule. Then we got Charlotte and Washington. So, I think this preseason, you're not going to really see the core guys playing much. I think this is going to be about the rest of the guys that's on the roster, if you ask me. But that Christmas Day schedule, let me see if I could get that on the screen right quick. The Christmas Day schedule is kind of interesting too, because there's a couple of things that is interesting with the league. Like, certain teams are not on Christmas Day. Okay. All right, so you got the Nuggets and the Suns. Of course, that's a superstar-powered lineup, right, on both sides. You got Lakers, Warriors, right, Steph Curry, LeBron, even though those teams may not be that good, but it's Steph Curry and LeBron. 76ers, Celtics, you already know. That's possibly top three teams in the East, right, battling it out. Timberwolves and Mavericks. Of course, that's a rematch of the Western Conference Finals, right? And then you got Spurs and the Knicks. Now, a couple of teams are not on Christmas Day. Couple of teams are not on Christmas Day. The Bucks are not on Christmas Day. Right? We got the young Wemby. They didn't want to put us up against the Bucks again like we did last year, right? Another team that's missing is the OKC Thunders. They might be the best team in the West. They was number 1 in the West last year. I know they only went to the second round, right, in last year's postseason, but why aren't they on the list? I mean, they could have easily did Isaiah Hartenstein versus the Knicks instead of the Spurs. But Wemby is Wemby, and Wemby he did his thing in the Olympics. And honestly, I'm telling y'all right now, Wemby is a superstar. So I just thought that this Christmas Day schedule is kind of interesting. Let me see you guys talking about in the chat. Wait, hold on, Coach. Knicks will be champs in 25-26. You said Randall wasn't in the dream? Huh? But Josh Hart won the MVP. Yeah, you was dreaming. No offense to Josh Hart. No offense to Josh Hart, but that was a dream. That was definitely a dream. So yeah, that's that's what we know right now with the tentative schedule of the season. Or I shouldn't say tentative, but we don't have the full details. But we know what the preseason is going to look like. Is this going to be straight G League action? Guys getting a little warm, but we got 5 games this year too. In the which is a first in a while. We haven't had this many games in the preseason. So, hey, I guess more opportunities for guys to get the light. But I don't expect to see the Knicks putting in any work during the preseason. So let's see what else I want to talk about. So we got the season calendar. This guy right here is an interesting guy. And salute to Still Knicks fans, by the way, because Still Knicks fans did a show on Sunday. He was talking about this. And I want to touch on this a little bit because this is actually related to word on the street. I got a poll talking about Jericho Sims. And you know what? I'm going to pull that poll up too. I got a poll talking about Jericho Sims and, whether or not where he stands with the roster, right? I do want to highlight something that you might not be considering, but let me get this up here just in case, because we will jump into the Sims stuff. But so Jericho Sims, he's finally healthy. He has some surgeries, right? How many of you guys knew that Jericho Sims was battling injuries, right? And then he also is working on his offense ahead of this pivotal Knicks year, right? So the Forgotten Center should benefit from his first healthy offseason. So they're also saying that this is his first healthy offseason as a pro, right? And he's been working out with a familiar former point guard, right? So Jericho Sims, he's looking to compete for the backup spot. Hey, maybe this is why the Knicks did not go and make a move for another center, right? But outside of re-signing Precious, right? Or in the drafting who they drafted, right? Maybe they believe, maybe the great Leon Rose believes in this man here because, according to this article, he wasn't healthy the last 2 years, right? Bunch of guys. I'm not sure if it was Sam, might even been Coach. We was getting on Sims. We was talking about how, he doesn't really work on his game. He hasn't really improved. Now we know he was hurt. I do remember him having some injuries, but I didn't really look too much into Sims because, he wasn't really that pivotal to the rotation even last year because Precious Achiuwa kind of like bounced him out. But, 2 years ago, he underwent the surgery to repair his torn ulnar collateral ligament in his thumb, right? So, hey, the man, he's finally healthy, right? Of course, the injury wasn't previously disclosed, right? A lot of secrets. He wasn't able to work on his game from July to September back in 2022. So, hey, man, he's working with Mike Bibby, right? Former Knick guard, right? Once a Knick, always a Knick. Salute to Mike Bibby, right? And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think about Sims? Do you think that he's going to come back? This is his first off-season healthy? You know, wow, he has a 44.5-inch vert. That's crazy. Maybe we should give Sims a shot. Jericho might make that jump, but then Grimes was supposed to make that leap 2 seasons ago, and we know how that went. Oh my God, I got an unforgiving chat. Oh, by the way, salute to Sam in the building, right? Definitely Discord. Oh, my Discord family, definitely get inside the Discord. Knicks Take Madness. We have a 24/7 Knicks chat. Link in the description. Also, you could go straight to www.theobjectiveknicksfans.com. That's how you can also get in there. Or you can click on any of the links that's in the chat. I got one pinned, right? Definitely check that out. But Sam's in the building. This is going to be Sims' breakout season. But realistically, probably not. Oh, my God. Yo, Sims. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, man. So, Jericho might make that jump. Well, I'm going to say this. I don't know what they're planning on doing in terms of the Knicks, in terms of that last spot. The Knicks can actually do something. They can do something. I'm going to explain that in a second. You know what? Before I get there, I just want to jump onto this word on the street. I'm going to talk about this poll I did, right? And so this is kind of word of the street mixed in with it. But the Knicks roster nearly complete. Jericho Sims appears to be the second or third string center in the depth chart. Where do you think Jericho will be placed on the depth chart, right? Now, we just read this article, and he's been working on his game. He's looking to make that leap, right? The leap that Quentin Grimes didn't make. So I asked that question. We got 253 votes. And I'm going to say he only warms the bench. I'm not convinced. However, so 13% say he only warms the bench. 46% says he deserves to play in the rotation. So a lot of you guys think he actually not only should come in, because the other question was he's a third stringer. He plays when Mitch is hurt. And I got 40% of the vote. So 46% of the Knicks fans that voted say that he actually deserves to play in the rotation. I'm going to say at this point, I do got a list of free agents. I got to get that. Because there's some free agents that's remaining. And let me show you why that's kind of interesting, right? I'm going to go to the Knicks sports track. Because there's something, we've been looking at the sports track every show, right? And there's something that I didn't even realize that was in the sports track, right? And I want to show you what the Knicks can actually do. And it's kind of interesting how this season is kind of playing out, because we know a lot of the money is dried up. So I do want to go into the Knicks sports track right quick, right? Something that I didn't even consider. Well, there's a couple of things I didn't even realize, right? So the first thing is, I'm going to scroll all the way down. Hold on, let me see, make sure you guys can see it. Right? Okay, you guys can see it, right? Okay, cool. So look, a couple of things I didn't even realize was this right here. The Knicks still have their non-taxpayer mid-level. See that? $12 million. And it's available, right? Now, here's the caveat with that. Even though the $12 million is available to sign a free agent, right? They're capped out. This is the other thing I didn't realize. They're capped out at this 188, which is the second apron maximum. You guys can see it. There's a lock here. This lock means they can't go above this number. This 188 is completely locked. And the reason why they can't go above that 188 is because of the Mikal Bridges trade. Remember what I told you guys. One of the restrictions with the second apron is if you make a trade, right, and it has aggregates, what they call aggregates. Aggregates is when you have a mismatch in terms of players. So you trade 2 for 3, right? 3 for 1. So even though in the Mikal Bridges trade we matched salaries, right, it still was an imbalance in the amount of players that was traded, right? Because we got the jump dude and Mikal Bridges, but we sent 3 out. So because we sent 3 out and took in 2, that's why we're locked. We cannot go above this 188, right? And currently, if you guys want to know where we currently are, we're currently at $179 million. This is the actual cap figure. This total allocations is because of cap holds, which these cap holds will be cleared, right? These are the cap holes right above my head right here. DeQuan Jeffries, Toppin. I mean, they could re-sign Toppin. They could also give him a two-way because they do have one more two-way available, right? Charlie Brown gone. Dwayne Washington gone. So this is the number right here, $179 million, unless they bring in Jacob Toppin, right? So instead of having the $12 million available, this $12 million, that will mean they would have 179, you minus the 188 from the 179, that's about $9 million. So the Knicks actually have $9 million in the taxpayer mid-level exception that they could sign a player for. They could actually, so Precious could have got more money. That's why the media was saying they could sign Precious for more. They could sign him for up to about, I believe it was like 16, 17, whatever this max is. They can't go above this ceiling right here, right? So when they was trying to do the Precious Achiuwa trade, right, or a trade for some of these guys that we were hearing, if they made within that $17 million range, that's how they could have done it. So the Knicks honestly could get another, whatever players is available. And I do got the list somewhere. I'm gonna pull that up on the screen too, because I'm curious to know what direction you think the Knicks will go with this final roster spot, especially now knowing that we got up to a $9 million that we can spend that will keep us right below this salary cap second apron maximum. Right, we can't even go above it. So. And right now we have 17 players. So it's still one more spot available. Don't worry about this E10. That's an Exhibit 10. That's not a guaranteed contract. This E10 that this Chuma kid got, that's not a guaranteed contract. We're talking about if they sign one of these contracts that you see up here, the FAs, that's a free agent, right? And veteran extensions. So, some stuff can be done. Not necessarily trade-wise, because I do think that now I'm not 100% on this part. I do think they might have to still match salaries on trades because they are a first apron team. I think that's a first apron restriction. So even though you can have aggregates, you still got to match salary. Up into a number, I think it's 110%. The salary's got to match. So whatever trades you guys are trying to do, you have to consider the players' salaries, right? And this number right here, because you can't go above it. Okay, this 188. So let me see what you guys told me in the chat. Knicks medical staff keep info on lock. That's a fact. They all right, so like Sam said about the medical staff, right? Do y'all remember what happened with OG Anunoby? I even did a video talking about how OG, he's going to miss the playoffs because the media ran with this narrative that, he had tennis elbow. OG Anunoby never had tennis elbow. What he had was just inflammation because he might have came back too soon after the surgery. That's what OG had. But the media says it's tennis elbow, and part of that is like Sam said, they're not forthright at all. They're not forthright at all. Sam says, I'm not a Sims hater. I actually like the kid, and you have faith in him. Well, I have faith for everybody's a Knicks. Salute that. By default, if you're a Knick, I'm rooting for you, right? Once you leave the Knicks, I don't care. Sorry, I mean, I want to see everybody do well, but it's Knick Nation. Like, that's all I'm concerned about. So while you're with the Knicks, I'm riding with you, right? But, I of course, that once a Knick respect, we always give it. But if you're not on the team, if you're not in the town, I'm not really checking for you like that. I'm sorry. I mean, I cover the NBA too, but I'm not checking for you like that. You know what I'm saying? You become secondary. I'm not saying you're necessarily the ops, right? Unless you pay for the Pacers and your name's Obi Toppin, then okay. But yeah. So yeah, we're not hating on Sims. We definitely not hating on Sims. Let me see. I do got the chat locked to subscriber only mode. It's only for a minute. So if you want to join the chat, you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel, and in 1 minute you could join the chat. Because I like to interact with you guys. If I miss anything, I didn't miss anything. Okay, cool. So now that we got the money straight, let me I have it here. I got to get this on my computer. It's going to take me 2 seconds. I want to talk about the free agents that's available because I think that is interesting. I had the article here. Yeah, I got it right here. Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna get this on the screen. It's crazy, right? I'm gonna tell you something. It's crazy the amount of guys that are still out there. Like, I mean, there's some talented guys that, in my opinion, I'm like, why are these guys not signed? All right, hold on. Let me just double check my notes. I just synced it, and then I'm gonna put it on the screen so we could all see it. But I'm completely shocked at how many guys are still there. Like it's crazy to me, at least. So this is Hoop Hype, right? Hoop Hype is a site I love, but they got the list of the remaining guys, and no, these guys are not signed because this article came out on August 8th, right? So I got the list here on my phone. I don't need to pull this up, but I can see if guys were signed. So the last guy to sign was this guy. I'm not even gonna pronounce his name, but he signed with the Jazz. His name is V, and he signed a 4-year deal with the Jazz for $15 million. He's the last guy to sign. So all these guys are still out there. Isaac Okoro, good defender. Surprised he's still out there. Lonnie Walker, all right. This Oddman kid, he's a decent shooter. I think defense, not playing defense is his problem. Taylor Horton Tucker, I would say get him if we needed another guard, even though he's not that nice, but he's a veteran. He's been around. And if you need a guard, why not? Markelle Fultz is still out there. He's somebody that's up and down in his career. He was definitely projected to be a star in the league. Never really panned out. Dennis Smith Jr., he's still available. So all these guards, like we know there's always going to be a lot of guards, right? So a whole bunch of guards, right? Doug McDermott, right? He's a guy. This guy, Jay Crowder. So, I mean, there's teams that could easily pick these guys up. I mean, but I think the issue, too, is how many of these guys are willing to sign veteran minimums, because that's what it's going to take, unfortunately, for teams to sign them, right? Now, remember, like we just said, the Knicks got $9 million to spend, y'all. They got $9 million up to. Not that they're going to spend it. Now, you got the Morris twins, too. Marcus and Markieff. Now, I ain't going to lie to you. And I talked about this with, I think, Sam in the Discord. And we said, yo, Marcus Morris is putting in work. That he had one good game against the Celtics. So it might not have been a Discord. It might have been somewhere else. But I had a good conversation with somebody about Marcus Morris, and we were saying how good he looked in that one game. And I'm like, the Knicks should consider bringing him back. I know he's not a center, but he is a power forward. And Randall gets hurt, he's somebody that could come right in. And definitely, give us some level up. I'm not saying he's going to replace Randall, but he is somebody who, can definitely still be effective in like 10 to 15-minute stretches, right? Young guy, Jordan Goodwin. This kid is talented. If we needed a point guard, I would say him. Of course, Evan Fournier. He's still a free agent. It'd be interesting to see what happens with him. Daniel House. Davis Bertans. Remember this guy? Oh, the Knicks looking to get him. He's still out there. Robert Covington. Now, Bismack Biyombo is somebody, I don't like him, but he definitely is a really good shot blocker and a decent rebounder. I don't know because his offensive game is so limited, right? His offensive game. But, let's keep looking. Danilo Gallinari. Nah, the Knicks ain't going to bring him back. Justin Holiday. This would be a solid pickup too. I like Justin Holiday. It's crazy how Denver can't even Denver is so tapped out trying to avoid second apron that they don't even bring a lot of their own guys back. Troy Brown, Tristan Thompson, it might be time for him to retire. Boban, no. Even though he's too slow. Omer Yurtis 7. I don't know. I mean, at this point, when we look at the free agents, what's the difference with Scap? You know what I'm saying? I think you give Scap the job, and then you can save money. You know, I say go get Scap. Are you feeling any of these guys? Harry Giles, my man from Duke, he should have stayed in Duke another year. Never panned out to be anything. JT Dorr, how you feel about him? I don't like him on the defensive end. He's all right. And he's young. He's still developing. Patty Mills is out there. Wow. They got Patty Mills as number 26. Thaddeus Young. JaVale McGee. You already know he's a world champion. Didn't really get much time with the Kings. But he's somebody who's a veteran. You know? And he'll sign for the minimum, for sure. Guaranteed. But maybe he might have other things in mind, or I don't know. Sometimes guys like to stay on the West Coast, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, these are some of the guys that's available. Just wanted to just touch on that. Let me see if there's any other hidden jewels, because I didn't go out this far down. I don't got time to be looking at all this stuff. This kid was all right in college. Doko Azubuike. He was all right. But this is the other Morris twin. And that's it. So yeah, that's all for these free agents. Let me see where I want to go to next. Do I want to jump into Brunson right now? I'm gonna jump into Brunson in a second. If you just joined the broadcast, I didn't talk about Brunson just yet. I'm just running through some topics. Because this is This Week Inside the New York Knicks. You know, we run through topics. Oh, okay. So I'll talk about Steve Kerr, right? Real briefly. I'll talk about Steve Kerr. Now, I have a question, and this is going to require the chat participation. Right? So subscribe so you can chat. All you gotta wait is 1 minute. Now look, I got it right here on my phone. Now, Nick Muse posted this. You know, Nick Muse is always on top of stuff. Like right now, Nick Muse, at first, I think 2 weeks ago, they was on a Julius Randle, mission where they was like, yo, you coming for Randle, we gonna post all this information, all the things he did, right? So now they kind of going a little bit into vintage mode. They posted up a tweet, which is actually a screenshot of Woj saying that how the Knicks and Steve Kerr, right, they were locked in a stare down over deal terms. I'm not sure how many of you guys remember Steve Kerr could have coached the Knicks. You know, there was discussion, Phil Jackson, he was trying to pull that trigger, triangle offense, madness. And so, of course, he didn't accept the deal because he went to the Warriors, of course. And so, and Nick Muse said that a reminder that Steve Kerr and the Knicks nearly agreed to a deal back in 2014. It's crazy how different the NBA may be if he coached the Knicks. Now, I do have a question. How do you think the Knicks, and this is going to be a poll one day this week, how do you think Steve Kerr would have did if he would have took the job from Phil? Now, here's the key words. Phil Jackson is running the show. Okay, we see what Phil did. How do you think Steve Kerr would have did coaching the Knicks? And, do you think that we would have won a championship? Do you think that he would have been fired in 2-3 years? I'm curious to know. Now, what you guys think. Now, me, if I want to talk about Steve Kerr, I had to remember what was going on during this time. And what we could do is we could pull up the Knicks, right? Basketball reference. And we're going to go back in time, right? And we're going to look at the lens of the world that the Knicks were navigating through in that time, right? I know Melo was there. Who else was there? I think Amari was done. Hold on. I'm going to pull it up. And we could talk about the Knicks for a little bit, and then I'm going to jump into Jalen Brunson. But I do want to massage this Steve Kerr stuff. Because, to be honest, I feel like maybe if but and I think Nick Muse posted this because of the Olympics, right? And Steve Kerr sort of being maligned. And I said it on the pod 2 weeks ago. I said there's no way you lose the Olympics with Steph Curry, LeBron, and Durant. And he almost lost it. Not in the final game, but definitely that Serbia game. We was down like 16-15 going into the fourth. And some of his lineups was just crazy to me. It didn't make any sense. You got Jason Tatum, okay? Jason Tatum, who just came off a final, a championship run, who should have been finals MVP. No offense to Jalen Brown, but Jason Tatum to me stepped up in the finals, right? If you want to give the Eastern Conference to Jalen Brown, go ahead. But I'm telling you right now, them finals, Tatum's numbers was pretty solid. Like, they were really good. And I'm not saying Browns was bad, but yeah. So when we look at May 2014, and this is the team right before. So this is the Mike Woodson team. He was 37-45. Phil took over, right? And then they pushed Mike Woodson out. Now, this was the year, of course, this is the team that's right the summer before Steve Kerr would have signed, right? Of course, you got Melo, you had J.R. Smith, you had Felton, and then Chandler had a little injury battle. Wasn't the same. Was declining. These guys was getting up there, but 31. Chandler, I guess Chandler wasn't that old. But you still had Kenyon Martin and Pablo Prigioni, Meta World Peace at 34. The team, the team wasn't really rocking like that. Now, do you think Steve Kerr would have came in? Because this was the team in 14-15. Okay? Now, this is the team that, what's his name? Derek Fisher had. Okay? And yeah, I'm just letting you know the team was not popping. Now, to be fair, Melo was hurt. Melo was hurt. Melo only played 40 games, right? But even still, 17-65 is just crazy. So right now, when you look at this team, you just have Melo. Stoudemire is done. He's shot, right? He only played 36 games. He was definitely shot. And then your team is just Samuel Dellenberg, Clanthony Early. What would Steve Kerr had done? What could he do with this team? Because remember, the key thing about it is when Steve Kerr went to the Warriors had a squad. I don't even need to pull the Warriors team up. They had a really good team. So I think Steve Kerr probably would have been exposed earlier. Like, he is not all that, and he might not even be in the league right now, which would have been a trap. Honestly, you can say what you want about Steve Kerr. You may not feel like he even built up the Warriors, but the man did win 4 championships. Team USA did win gold. It would have been a travesty to not see him get the opportunity. Because if he came to the Knicks, he probably would have just been a coach the one time, done, on TV announcing games. Let me see what you guys think. These international players aren't what MJ and the Dream Team face. Basketball Global Forum will hold the torch for the NBA going forward. But you know what? Knicks will be champs. I hear what you're saying, right? But you had KD, Steph, LeBron. You do not lose with those three guys. I can go coach that team, and we're gonna win. Steve Kerr took over a team that was already a 50-win, really good team in the West. Did he take them to another level? Okay, yes. But would they have not gone to the next level with Mark Jackson? Right? Once a Knick, always a Knick. Mark Jackson. You know, I always got to give these former Knicks I got to always give the former Knicks the love. You know that. I say they win the championship. I say they do the same thing with Mark Jackson. So we hadn't seen Steve Kerr in a Pat Riley-like role where you take a team that was nothing and you make him into something. See, that to me shows how great of a coach you are. You come into a circumstance where it's nothing there. Even Phil, right? When Phil first went to Chicago, they were getting their butts whooped. That is just the truth. The Bulls was just getting, they had Jordan, but he was getting worked out. Even though he was killing, he was great on the individual level, but when it came to team success, they wasn't really doing much. They was just like first round, second round playoffs, if that. So Phil going there, he elevated them 6 championships, right? Of course, Jerry Krause, great GM. He built those teams, but still at the same time, Phil coached those guys, right? And then even when you look at the Lakers, right? Lakers had a promising team, especially when they got Shaq, Kobe, right? But they were falling short. They got swept in the Western Finals and things of that nature. They wasn't really putting in work like that. Not until, Phil, 2000 came, everything changed. They ran off 3 in a row. And then Phil came back, right? He came back and helped Kobe and those guys elevate to the... So we haven't seen Steve Kerr do that. I'm curious to see. Now, here's the thing I'm curious to see. When Steph is gone, when Steph retires, now what happens to that Warriors team? Will Steve Kerr even be there? Because that's going to be his George Popovich moment where the team is bad and now you rebuild the team and build them into a championship. Because I think that's what George Pop is getting ready to do with Wemby. So I want to see, well, and maybe not a championship team with Wemby just yet, but at least bring them back into prominence. Will Steve Kerr do that? Could Steve Kerr do that with this team? I say no. But yeah. Salute to Immortal Cuts in the building. Yeah, y'all. This is This Week Inside the New York Knicks, episode 10, Offseason edition 2024. Just ready through some topics. I'm getting ready to jump in Jalen Brunson next, but I'm massaging this Steve Kerr idea. Some of you guys may have remembered, a lot of you guys, because I got some OGs on my channel. Salute to y'all, but y'all remember when Steve Kerr was considered for the Knicks job right after, when Phil took over and he was looking for a triangle guy and he brought in Derek Fisher, but at first he was looking at Steve Kerr. What do you think Steve Kerr would have done with these Knicks? That's the question that I just asked, So you can let me know how you feel about that, Immortal Cuts. Do you honestly believe that in your heart, mind, and soul that Steve Kerr could have, took us to the promised land? With this team, by the way. This team that I have on the screen right here. Okay, you got, look, I'm just going to pull the starters up. These are all the guys that started for this team this year. Jose Calderon, Langston Galloway. Oh, by the way, Langston Galloway was doing all right. He was like a sub for the USA team and during the exhibitions, right? He was there, helping them guys work out. But yes, Langston Galloway, Carmelo Anthony, right? Lou Amundsen. Amundsen, oh my God. Jason Smith, Tim Hardaway Jr., who's not bad. Lance Thomas, the last Knicks captain. Iman Shumpert started. Bargnani, right? Now, these guys also, I think some of these guys might have got traded or they got hurt, whatever it is. Yeah, these guys didn't really play the whole year. So all these guys started for the Knicks. Shane Larkin. How many of you guys remember Shane Larkin? All the hype. Yeah, I remember all the hype around these guys. Oh, Shane Larkin, he's Larkin's son that played baseball and da 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 da. And he's supposed to be this thing, never amounted to none, right? Alex Shev. I remember getting into debates in the Knicks group about this guy, early days Knicks argument groups talk about Alexi Shev, right? Cleanthony Early, oh my God, another guy that was supposed to be this, that, and the third, right? Damn near everybody that played, this is how you know how bad this Knicks team was. Everybody who played for the damn Knicks team started at least one game besides Ricky Lito. He's the only one that didn't start. Shameful. Who did the Warriors draft after the dynasty that panned out besides Kumunga? Who did they draft? Nobody really. I mean, those guys are all right to me. Poole, I mean, did Poole pan out? Poole is still young. So we got to see what happens with Poole. Looney, those guys are all right. I don't think they drafted any other stars besides Splash Brothers, Draymond, if you consider Draymond to be a star, right? Kumunga, he has all-star potential maybe. I don't know. I got to see how that looks this year because now teams are going to be gunning for him. Because a lot of times you see guys when they shoot out and have breakout years, guys didn't know you had that in you. You give teams a whole offseason. Coaches start, scouting you and looking at your weaknesses. I want to see what the work looks like now, especially without Clay, without CP3. I'm gonna be interested to see what the Warriors have done. I don't think they really had too many busts or guys that weren't good. I just think that they didn't have any real stars. They haven't drafted any stars. Yeah, I can't think of. Yeah, Knicks will be chance. That, to be fair, that's why I said, I honestly I wouldn't even want to put that on Steve Kerr because his career. I mean, we know what his Warriors career looks like, right? Even though some people feel like he built it on the back of Mark Jackson, right? But if he went to the Knicks because Phil was his man, right? If he would have did that, Steve Kerr might not even be in the NBA right now. He might not be. Look at Steve Nash. Steve Nash probably won't even get another job. And I honestly think that debacle in Brooklyn wasn't his fault, but that's a whole nother show, whole nother topic. not with that roster. He couldn't do anything. He couldn't do a thing with anyone besides Melo. But this is Phil Jackson, man. This is Phil's fault. Phil put this team together, man. Phil, I mean, it was Phil. Let me see something. Man, I'm not even trying to look into it. I was going to look into the moves, but forget it. But yeah, that's the Steve Kerr stuff. Let me see. I'm going to jump into Brunson. So I got these. First off, salute to JB Smooth. He had the ceremony last week. We touched up on it a little bit not the ceremony. We touched on him becoming the captain and what it means for him to be the Knicks. So I'm not going to jump too much on the captain stuff. Captain 11. Definitely working on some captain shirts. That's going to be coming soon. I'm going to have some new merch in the merch store. Because Jalen Brunson, he's amazing. I mean, he continues to make old media eat their words, right? He continues to definitely show the league why he is a superstar. Right? I'm working on my what to expect this season series from Knicks players, starting with JB Smooth. And one of the things I want to talk about with JB Smooth is that he will show the league why he is a superstar. right? And he's gonna even do more. He's gonna extend on that legacy. I'm gonna talk about how in the video, but Kerr had success with players besides the core group that were marginal. Yeah, that's facts. Beating Boston in the finals was a crowning achievement for Kerr. Yeah, but to touch on that real quick before I move over to Brunson, Kerr. So here's the thing with Kerr, right? When you look at those finals wins, they all, I hate to say it, because I'm not a hater at all. And I love Steph. I think Steph is the best point guard in NBA history. I'm not going to debate that here. If you want to debate me on Steph being the best point guard, join the Discord. We have a 24/7 Knicks chat. We have a 24/7 Knicks chat, of course. Get it up in there. But to me, I don't want to undermine Steph's legacy, but every championship they won, there's an asterisk by it. I mean, you can argue. Now, of course, you could say, well, even the ones they lost, you could say there's asterisk, right? Like the 73-win season, that was a season they should have won, but Draymond got suspended. I give you that. So it kind of balances out. That's why I don't even want to play with the asterisk too much, because then KD being hurt against Toronto. So if you take away the 2 or 3 championships, they can also counter and say they could have won these championships if this. So I don't really want to do that. But I'm gonna have to take away the last one, though. They beat a Celtic team that honestly, they shouldn't even beat Miami, because I think Miami had injuries that year. Miami should have been the team. Not to say Miami was going to win. I'm just saying they beat Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown. You know, they still, even though they was making the playoffs every year and making it like deep in the playoffs for mad years, Boston was doing that. But you beat a young Tatum and Brown. Would that Warrior team beat this Celtic team? No. Did they win the championship? You got to give them credit for it? Of course. I'm just saying, me personally, that might be their most. I mean, they had a couple of championships that was like, yo. But that one there, for sure, was a little iffy to me. I mean, I give them credit for it, but I'm just saying, I just think that injuries, man, it all plays out. Oh, wow. He said, Immortal Cut said, Phil drafted Frank because he was trying to get fired. That's crazy. But I'm jumping over to JB, guys, because I don't want to stay on this too long today. I got a couple of more topics, too. And I do want to talk about Donte DiVincenzo, too, but I'm going to talk about that after this. So Jalen Brunson, of course, as we know, they had the ceremony, right? And the ceremony to me was it was cool. I feel like to some people, and I responded to a guy on Twitter about this. He was saying how I love the Knicks, I love JB, but the ceremony was a little too much. It was a little too much. Like, win the championship, like. And as much as I disagree with him, because I responded to that tweet and I was like, nah, but you got to understand, and I do feel this way the same way, that the Knicks are doing it differently. We're doing it the right way. We're doing it the organic way. We want our guys to show and feel the love. And I'm in support of it. But at the same time, and I love JB, because JB was like, look, see if I got the exact quote. JB was like, when this is over, it's back to work. This is nice and I'm grateful for it, but I'm ready to put the work in, y'all. I'm ready to put the work in. And I always knew that about JB, but it was just something about hearing him say it and show it again that made me feel extra confident as a Knicks fan that this Knicks team is going to do something we've never seen before. Because I don't think I've ever seen a captain ceremony. I mean, I don't think, definitely the Knicks never really did that. not a ceremony like that. And the ceremony is well deserving, but we just want to win, right? We just want to win. So some people felt like it was a little over the top. I disagree with them. But at the same time, you know, I knew a lot of people would have made a big deal about Randall not being there, but Randall wasn't the only one that wasn't there. And Randall also clarified that he had another engagement, like most of the other guys. Josh Hart wasn't there. Donte wasn't there. So, guys have, because this was kind of spur in the moment, right? Spontaneous. So, guys couldn't really shake their arrangements to be there. But they all gave video tributes, right? Starting with Julius Randle. He's the first Knick in the clip to give, Brunson that praise. So at every angle, they want to divide us, like what they're doing to Boston right now. They're trying to divide Boston. They're trying to divide and conquer because they feel as though they can't beat them on the floor. Those tactics won't even work with us. That's why I love how the Knicks did it, because it took away the Randall angle, right? Randall not being there. Because that, trust me, that would have been an angle. If they didn't do it the way they did it, especially with the video clips from all the guys that weren't there, they would have tried to use divide and conquer tactics. But those tactics don't work against these Knicks. They're locked in. They're dialed in. Trying to think anything else I want to talk about. Brunson also has a sense of humor, even if he's not the greatest at cracking jokes, and he's not, but he's letting his personality show because he has superstar qualities, right? And he's not as easygoing as he appears to be, right? He's someone that can crack one of those jokes to really make you think, right? Like, whoa. Like when they did the charity, right? They donated it to his charity. I believe that's the charity he also has with his mom. And so, when they brought the check out, Jalen Brunson joked that said, how much is it? Is it $113 million? Is it, how much? $113 million? And Alan Hahn did not hear him. And because of that, the joke kind of didn't go over too well. I mean, we heard it because he said it over the mic, but Alan didn't hear it. So, but at the same time, that joke is like JB is a human too. He's not just a guy who he has a little edge to him. That's the best way to put it. He has a little edge to him. Try to think anything else from the ceremony. I mean, everything. These Knicks, they are. Yes, they are media trained, but I honestly believe these guys really believe what they're saying. And a lot of guys, you just can't say that. It's a lot of BS. These guys are dialed in and are ready to go. And so old media, there's been a lot of reports, a lot of things that's being said now where, I mean, it's crazy with Jalen Brunson, right? How he continually proved these guys wrong. Even some of our own guys like Stephen A. Smith, who objected to signing JB his first year. And the videos is crazy. I wish I had the collages of it, right? And so it's kind of funny to me how, these guys all changed their tunes. And it's been like every year a pullback on a projection or a pullback on a statement. Because remember, JB was too small. Remember, that was the narrative, right? And I attacked that all year last year. And now JB is starting to really get the praise sooner than I thought. I thought that we were going to have to wait to win more, but he's been getting some of the light that he's been deprived of. I'm going to start here. Let me see if any quotes. To another thing too, JB, he doubled down about the money. He doesn't care about the bread. He does not care about the money. He's not even worried about the $400 million that he is eligible to sign when he turns in his 10th year. He's not even thinking about that. He wants to win because, see, this is why I'm glad Hartenstein left. I'm glad he left because it shows me that he didn't have real faith in the team. Because if he had real faith in the team, that little we got $87 million, 72, the $15 million less that he got, even though that last year is not even guaranteed, but let's say he gets the 3-year 87. He's not, but let's say he gets it. That $15 million, he would have got that and more in New York with endorsements and winning in New York. I already showed you, they're not even on the Christmas schedule, and they were the number 1 seed in the West last year. They were the best team in the West. Of course, they lost in the second round. So he went to a place with a lower light, even though they're a good team. So it's a lower light, lower value in terms of importance and what the world's going to say. And then now you're going to disappear off the face of the earth because no one's going to talk about him, right? They would have to win the championship for him to hopefully get a light. And there's no guarantees in the West. So I love the fact that these Knicks want to be here. Randall, we're going to work on that contract. I'm not too concerned about that right now. But I just love that. I just love that, Brunson, he pretty much got rid of and disposed of a lot of those narratives that these guys were going to come with. Let me see what you guys are talking about. Boston team swept the KD-led Nets, and defending champion Bucks. That team was a problem. Yeah, they were a problem, but what about that Miami series? I think the Knicks team is rock solid. A couple of years ago, it was a mixture of young and old. Facts. Yeah, this Knicks team to me is going to shock the world. So let me pull up this this point guard list. So this is last year, okay? July 29th, 2023. This is the top 24 point guards, right? I'm gonna scroll down. So this is last year. This is not this year, okay? This was last year, them projecting who will be the top point guards going into last season, right? I'm going to still scroll. They got Drew Holiday 15. That's kind of crazy. Garland 14, okay. Kyrie number 13, right? Of course, Kyrie is a 2-guard, but that's fine. And then they had JB Smooth. How many of you guys remember this last year? Hoops Hype. Right? Salute the Hoops Hype, right? I they had Jalen Brunson number 12 last year. Right? Point guard, Irvin more or less had to replace last season with the Mavericks. Jalen Brunson left Dallas in free agency last summer and joined the Knicks. Tasked with huge expectation, right? And so we expect another jump from Brunson, right? Because he jumped up. I'm assuming he definitely jumped up. Because the previous year, he definitely wasn't 12. So, yeah. So that's where they ranked him, right? They ranked him behind LaMelo Ball, who didn't even really play. Jamal Murray didn't really, he didn't meet the 65-game threshold. James Harden, all right, James Harden was balling. De'Aaron Fox, he's a baller. Tyrese Halliburton, Trae Young, okay, Trae Young was an all-star. Damian Lillard, that's Dame, right? So the top 4, we're going to let them live, right? Top 4 for sure. Jalen Brunson, even Dame going into the year, if you want to say Dame over him. Even Trae, only because he's an all-star. But the rest of these guys, I would have had Brunson in the top 10, right? But that was last year, y'all, right? That's last year, okay? So we're going to fast forward to this year, right? And this is what I call the Jalen Brunson effect. Right? When we're talking about a guy who is a winner and he's a natural born just dog who is so focused on basketball and success that, you could only expect the best from JB, right? So this is this year's top 30, right? So they went from 24 to 30. Now, and I like how they started from top to bottom this time, right? So these are the top 30 point guards. You got Luka Doncic, right? Number 1. Hard to argue that. You got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, number 2. Okay. Those are the 2 best guards in the league. I take it. All right. And guess who's number 3? Guess who's number 3? JB Smooth. Captain 11. Let's go. Let's go, New York. Finally getting the praise he deserves. Now, I ain't going to lie. when I saw this, I didn't even consider that the old media narrative, not to say that Hoops Hype is old media, they're kind of, new on the forefront of a lot of stuff, but they still got old media ties because it's kind of it's not really they do a lot of sourcing of other people's stuff. So, but still, it's a narrative that's there, right? Now, it's crazy. It's crazy to go from 12-3 and really actually, like, I'm so curious to see what Doris Burke is going to say. And don't be surprised if that whole, he may be undersized, but if that changes. Because now he had the greatest sacrifice. He's the captain, right? He's the king of New York. So now you have to draw into that narrative. So we're literally watching these narratives shift. I don't want to say overnight. I'm going to say in 2 years. Let me see what you guys talking about before I continue. OKC's the title contender. Our took the money to play for them. Can't be mad. Yeah, but Knicks will be champs. Did he really take the bag? Or is it smoke and mirrors? Like I said in the video. I got a video breaking it down. I'm going to say this. That man was guaranteed 2 years, $58 million. That last year is not guaranteed. And if you watch the Hartenstein video that I did, you would know why I explained why he will not even get that option for that last year. It's just not going to happen, brother. So he really signed for 2 years, 58. And the goal is to play himself into another contract for year 3. But it's a lot that has to go right because I've also read reports, not to say that these reports are right, but Hartenstein might not even be the starting center. But that's a whole nother topic. I'm just glad that he left. I'm not mad at Hartenstein either. I'm not mad at him, but I'm just saying if we're talking about money, New York is where the money at. You don't leave New York. You don't leave New York because he would be a much bigger star. But not that he's a star player. He's not a star player. But his profile would be a lot larger in New York with a lot more opportunities because he could very well go to OKC, not be what they thought he was going to be, and get shipped somewhere else. And if we know he gets shipped somewhere else, they definitely not going to pick up on that last year, the contract. So that's all I'm saying. And then what will the bag be like, being a free agent that didn't really produce or didn't really meet the expectations? I'm not saying I'm not wishing that on him. I'm just saying there's a lot of factors that went into that. But bottom line is JB Smooth. He is somebody who is getting the light. Look who he's ahead of. Tyrese Halliburton, right? Which is, honestly, I would put him in the 4th spot. I was thinking about Tyrese like, But when you really think about, like, top point guards in the league, who has really did more than what he did last year? He took his team to the East Finals. Of course, they didn't win a game, but you got to get a man some praise for that. Of course, Steph Curry, he's the number 1 point guard all times, if you ask me. Not going to debate this on this show. Join the Discord if you want to argue that. But him being number 5 is a fair pick to me because right now he's not what he used to be. He's on the downside of his career. Still serviceable, still a superstar. He's just not the same Curry that's going to give you, 30, right, on 40% shooting from downtown. That's just not him. And these numbers may go up, but I don't think the Warriors' success will also go up because I think they are kind of factoring team success. I don't know. They could be factoring whatever they want. Maxey, number 6. Ja Morant, number 7. Now, Ja Morant, what was his ranking last year? I think Ja Morant was like top 10 last year, right? Ja Morant, hold on. Oh, no, he wasn't because of the suspension. I don't think they had him in the top. Yeah, Ja Morant was in the top. Oh, no, he was. He was top 4. Oh, snap. So Ja Morant slid back, right? He slid back because of the injury, right? So now he's number 7, right? Behind Maxey. So, okay. Not bad. Then Fox number 9. I feel like Fox don't get the light, but that's also because Sacramento didn't really do much in terms of making the postseason. So, but yeah. So they got JB and then the man Trae Young, who was also ahead of Brunson last year. So Brunson leapfrogged all of these guys and went to the number 3 spot. And he continues to show why, if you picked against him, you was just flat out wrong. Flat out wrong. So salute the Hoops Hype and Stay Today and whoever else put this list together. I know they're aggregators. They get their content from other people. This is Frank Urbania. He put this together. Salute to them. They got it right. They got it right. They did what they had to do, and they put him in his right place. I'm just happy that it took place now, because JB was getting so much flack just 1 year ago, 2 years ago. Forget about it. Jalen Brunson's in a whole different world. He's in a whole different world. Like, the love he's getting, people they got short memories. He wasn't always getting this love. Let me see what you guys talking about before we move on. Brunson made a huge leap a year sooner than expected. Facts. John Morant might come into the season guns blazing. John Morant might come into the season guns blazing. That's funny. I don't know. Now, on the individual level, could he give you the numbers that you see on the screen? The 25, the 8, the 5.6 rebounds is pretty good. But that was only 9 games. I say yes, but I think that you also have to factor in team success, because team success to me is why the top 2 guys are the top 2 guys. Like, if Luka was number 1 and his team didn't make it to the finals, or didn't have success to, make it into a top 5 seed, right? Make the playoffs, I don't think you rate him this high. I think that will be a demerit on his record, right? Same thing with SGA. They were number 1 in the West, right? JB, number 2 in the East, right? So Tyrese Halliburton, Eastern Conference Finals, right? Steph Curry, of course, he didn't have the success, but he is Steph Curry. So that just need to be said. Right, Tyrese Maxey, you see what the Philadelphia was able to do, even though we killed them in the first round. So John Morant, the guys that's ahead of him, to me, are on better teams. Well, besides Steph Curry, are on better teams. So I think that's why you got to see, because he could get the 25 and the 8, but how good would the team be? So I think that matters. I think that matters. So yeah, we talked about JB. Finally getting the love. Let me see if there's anything else I want to talk about with JB. I just love JB. Like, New York, we deserve a guy like Jalen Brunson, right? Salute to Melo and those guys, but they all couldn't imagine sacrificing that money. They all basically claimed they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it even if it's going to help them win a champ. See, JB, of course, Leon Rose and those guys, and Leon Rose we trust, those guys understand, right, that we're trying to build a championship, yo. It's either you want to be a part of this or you don't. And JB gets it. And he's a guy that's team first, can get buckets, is going to sacrifice, give his all, fracture his hand, right? Playing defense, swiping at the ball. That's a guy that you need. In New York, we are very, very, in my opinion, fortunate to have a guy like JB. He is somebody that's going to go above and beyond. And not too many guys are going to make the sacrifice, even Draymond Green. And Draymond Green doesn't understand that or maybe he does, but he doesn't care. The second apron is the contender killer. The reason why the Warriors are falling off the map is not because, yeah, it could be Bob Myers leaving, okay. But the reality of it is the second apron, they're paying $160 million in tax. That's why the owner was like, yo, Clay, I'm sorry, but we can't afford it. We can't afford to go in luxury tax and not even make the playoffs. That's a big loss, bro. Minnesota, $400 million, $230 million in salary, $170 million in tax. And that's a small market. So what's going to happen to Minnesota in the next 2 to 3 years, especially if they don't win a championship? They're going to have to blow that up because the owner's not going to want to spend that money and you're not winning. The money makes sense when you're winning, like Boston, right? So, yeah. Where's LaMelo on this list? Okay, we got to scroll down to get the LaMelo. Kyrie, they got Kyrie at number 11, but I don't like the Kyrie at number 11 because he's a two-guard. Jamal Murray, 12. Kay Cunningham moved up. They got him at 13. Here's LaMelo. They got LaMelo Ball at 14. Injuries, team success. I really do think they factor team success in because Kay Cunningham, the Pistons is not a good team, right? LaMelo Ball, not a good team. Harden kind of falling off a little bit. Derek White, he's really a two-guard, but they got him at point guard. Okay, cool. And then you got Garland at 17, which is wow. It makes sense, though. It makes sense because his postseason does not help his claim at all. He disappears in the postseason. But he had a decent regular season. And then Jrue Holiday, 18. Wow. And Murray's a two-guard. I don't like when they do that. I don't like when they put two guards on the point guard list, right? Even if those guys used to play point guard, they're not point guards anymore. Because to be honest, I would put Fred VanVleet above, up a little higher because Murray's not a point guard and White is not a point guard, but they got White at number 16. So yeah, that's the breakdown. Right now, let's see. Knicks 100, salute to you. Brunson had a mother and father in his life. His entire life, that makes a huge difference. That's a big fact. And then, speaking of that, I'm glad you brought that up because I have a whole bunch of quotes here, right? And Jalen Brunson says something about his parents. Let me see if I got it written down. I know I wrote it down, but he said, oh, yeah, this is something that I always knew just from watching him, that his leadership is something that just comes natural. It's something that his parents instilled in him. And he's just a natural born leader. And I just thought that, like 100 said, yo, your parents is important. And his father, salute to Pops, right? Salute to Rick Brunson, right? It looked like he wasn't playing no games with Jalen. And that's why, and I love the Roommates podcast because you get to really look inside of Brunson a little bit more because you're not going to get no personality from watching Knicks games, right? But you can see him, how he deals more on a personal basis. He's not just a nice, quiet guy. He's not. He has an edge to him, yo. And he's a dog for real. He's a dog for real. So, yeah, I just think that he's the perfect captain for us. So I know we talked about earlier, I think it was Knicks will be champ said, he asked a question, if the genie came to you and said that the Knicks will win a championship in the next 10 years, would you trade Brunson and Randall? And I only said yes because it's a guaranteed championship. Right now, we have no guarantees. But I would never trade Brunson. Brunson could be Steph Curry's age. Brunson deserves a spot in New York City for the rest of his career. because I believe he's going to fight hard for the next until the contract runs out and beyond for us to win. So, yeah, JB is that dude, man. He's that dude. And I'm just glad he's getting the light. That's why I wanted to shine light on this topic, because they rate the man number 12. He goes from number 12 to number 3. That's the biggest jump of anybody on this list. Brunson understands winning a title in New York makes him top 3. Facts. Facts. And in the top 100 all time. Facts. Listen, and that's what I was trying to say about Hartenstein, but he can't see the vision. That's fine. When you win a championship in New York, one championship in New York beats 3 championships in OKC. One championship in New York beats 3 championships in OKC and probably anywhere else. Why? Because, one, New York, biggest championship drought. You know, I know some teams never won championship, but I'm just saying, we have a very long drought. I'm talking about 51 years, y'all. 51 years. That one championship, he don't have to win no more. He did one championship. Of course, we want as many as we could get, but the one, you get that one, its legacy is locked. Definitely top 3 Knick all time. I might even put him over Ewing. I'm sorry, I love Ewing. I think Ewing is number 2 behind Walt Clyde, or Walt Clyde and Ewing is 1 and 2. But if JB gets one championship, I gotta put him up there with Clyde. I still would have Clyde number 1, unless JB wins 2. That's the only way you're gonna beat Walt Clyde. You gotta win 2 championships. You can't. Either way, whether he's 1 or 2 or 3, he's already 3 in my book. But, and I know some of you guys might disagree with that too, but because he's only been 2 years, but he set our he did something for the Knicks franchise no other player has ever done, and probably will ever do, because he's not money motivated. He wants to win. Brunson has core values. Knicks 100. Brunson has core values and morals built from having a family structure. Facts. Let me see. Before we shift gears, I want to talk about Donte, and then I'll do word on the street, and then we up out of here. I want to talk about Donte, right? Because Donte they also did a list too for shooting guards. And as we see on this point guard list, there's a couple of guys that are really 2 guards, but they got them listed as point guards. Whatever. As long as they got Brunson right, it is what it is. Let me see if I can find the shooting guard list. I think it was Knicks Daily on one of those sites. They said that they did Donte dirty. I think this is funny. Before I get to Donte, this is New York Knicks best kept secret. Miles McBride. Now Miles McBride is the best kept secret. Now this is Knicks SI, so they are a part of the Knick Nation, right? But at the same time, this article is just about a quote from this guy from Bleacher Report. He's a writer, Grant Hughes, right? And he says he's the best kept secret on the team. I don't think Deuce McBride is the best kept secret anymore. I think that everyone knows who he is at this point. I thought I had the Donte list. Well, I got a list too of Donte. Let me get it real quick fast about Donte, his ranking, because they also did this same ranking for shooting guards. I don't think they did small forwards yet, but they got Donte DiVincenzo listed on a list. I could pull it up. And I strongly disagree with this list, by the way, because Donte should be ranked higher. Yeah, I got it right here. Let me just put it in my notes so we can analyze it. And And Mikal Bridges is not on this list because he's listed as a 3. So, I'm not sure if they factored that into the list because it looks like when Hoops Hypes does their list, they're factoring different things into the list that, that people may not be thinking about. And I think one of the things is, are you a starter, right? Because all the people we've seen on the list thus far, they're all starters. And Donte will be coming off the bench for what we know right now. Unless something crazy happens and Mikal's like, I'll be a 6th man. I doubt that's happening. I think Mikal will be the starting 2 guard because I think that he's just that versatile and he can guard on the perimeter. He did it in Phoenix. So he'll definitely be able to do it in New York. Just as a starter, not off the bench. So let me see. This is okay. So they did the whole list. Okay. I'm gonna shoot guards. So shooting guards is this, right? So let me just make sure I'm in the right place. Oh no, this is the free agents. Hold on, y'all. My bad. I put up the wrong list. This is free agents. I meant to do shooting guards. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna get it up there. How? It's in my list. Let me just wait for it to load. Cause I'm looking at this list. I'm like, wait a minute. What is this? This is free agents ranking the remaining free agents. I was about to go crazy. Lonnie Walker's the number 1 2 guard. No way. All right. How? So hold on. Got it in my notes. It's loading right now. All right. So got it here. And we're going to look at this. I want you guys to tell me, do you think these ratings is fair? And this will be a poll too. But so these are the top 30 shooting guards, right? All right, cool. So we know Ant-Man and Booker is 1 and 2. That, I mean, if somebody has anybody besides those 2, yeah, you guys are tripping. Mitchell, number 3. I agree. I think I will put Mitchell at number 3, right? Only because Jalen Brown is a small forward to me. But they got Jalen Brown as a 2 guard here. So keep note of the guys that are not 2 guards. So we got Jalen Brown as 1. He's a 3, right? He's or a forward. Something you could even say he's a 4. Jalen Williams is another 4. So that's 2 guys they got on this list right now, right? Okay. Jalen Williams was playing 4, or at least 3. Jalen Williams won't even be a 3 next year unless you want to say Dort. If they start Dort at the 3 and then move him, they want to put him at the 2 with Chet at the 4 and then Hartenstein. Possible, but he wasn't that. So I'm not going to put him there. Desmond Bane, okay, I like Bane. Zach LaVine, even though he's hurt, no problem. He's an all-star. Cool. Austin Reeves. Do you think Austin Reeves is better than Donte? I mean, he's averaging 15 a game, was coming off the bench, starting. I could live with it, but I like Donte because I think Donte plays better defense. But Reeves is a little taller, so depends on what you like. Jalen Green, number 9, that's an interesting pick because Jalen Green over Reeves. I don't know. Tyler Hero's a point guard. Why is they got Tyler Hero at the 2 guard? Could someone explain that to me? So that's 3 guys I'm taking off. I'm making notes that are not 2 guards. Tyler Hero is a point guard. Don't understand it. CJ McCollum, even though he plays point guard. He plays point guard. He is technically a 2 guard, but I'm still going to add him to the list because he actively plays point guard. All right? So we're going to keep going. Bradley Beal, okay. Devin Vassell. Do you think Devin Vassell is ahead of Donte DiVincenzo? He's averaging 19 and 4. Definitely was a starter the whole year. Not as efficient from the 3 ball, but I don't know. Do you have Devin Vassell ahead of Donte? We could talk about that. Malik Monk ahead of Donte. I like Malik Monk. Ahead of Donte, maybe. So we got one questionable. We got in Vassell. Even though Vassell had a really good year, I'm just saying if Donte got Vassell's opportunities, Donte would probably put up the same numbers. That's just my thinking. Cam Thomas. Cam Thomas is a bona fide bucket. Cam Thomas over Donte. So we at 15, right? No Donte yet. Then they got Donte at 16. What do you guys think about Donte's rating? Now, I think it was Daily Knicks or one of these websites. They picked this up, and it was writing about how disrespectful it is for Donte to be ranked number 16. Me, honestly, I'm going to say because you got the 4 guys who are not point guards, Donte would naturally be higher. He would be like 12 on this list. Now, there may be an argument, too, on the other side, because I don't have it on there, but I do have the NBA 2K ratings. I like using the 2K ratings because the thing about the 2K ratings is it actually updates. But they got Kyrie. Kyrie is a 2 guard. So Kyrie would go ahead of Donte. Let's see. Derek White. Would you put Derek White ahead of Donte? I don't know. Maybe so. DeJounte Murray. I'm not sure if DeJounte Murray was even on this list. Yeah, I don't even see DeJounte Murray on the list. But they got Donte ahead of Anthony Simons. And Anthony Simons is nice. I ain't gonna lie. Anthony Simons is nice. He just got hurt too much, but yo, he is nice. What about Jalen Suggs? I think he plays point guard, though. Clay? Is Clay a 2 guard or is he a small forward? He's not on this list just yet. Maybe they got him as a small forward. Herbert Jones. Donte over Herbert Jones. I like Herbert Jones. He's a good defender. So according to 2K's list, right? Donte is number 25. But they got a lot of like players that are not 2 guards on here. They got Tyler Hero. They got who else they got? A couple of guys that are not point. Tyler Hero. They got Mikal Bridges. Well, Mikal Bridges will be a 2 guard this year, but he wasn't a 2 guard last year. But he definitely will be a 2 guard this year. They got Emmanuel Quickly ahead of Donte. On this list, Emmanuel Quickly. I don't think he's even on this list because I think they finally got him rated as a point guard. But R.J. Barrett, number 18, former Knick, behind Donte. How many of you guys agree with that? R.J. Barrett, 18 on the list. He was averaging 20 a game last year on 49% from the field, 36%. All right. So what do you guys think about that? Donte is 16. Let me see. I take Donte over Reeves. Facts. I'm with you with Knicks will be chance 25-26. The reason why I say that, I think Donte plays better defense. And I'm somebody who rewards defense. You know what I'm saying? I'm someone who rewards defense. Because Trey run the point. Well, Trey's the point, but is Murray a point? I don't think Murray's a point. You think Vassal's a better all-around player than Donte? I was going to let the Vassal thing slide only because his numbers are better and he's going to be a starter. See, Dante's not going to start. So that to me, like, automatically puts Donte back. And I gave you guys that are 2 guards that could be added. So I can add for the same 4 guards that I would take out, I can add maybe 2 or 3 guys that you might put ahead of Donte, including Mikal Bridges. So I don't know. When they said it was disrespectful, they got him ahead of RJ Anthony Simons. They got him ahead of Collins. Well, yeah, I got him ahead of Colin Sexton. Klay Thompson, he's ahead of Klay. He's ahead of Jordan Clarkson, who was a 6-man. But I think Clarkson starts now, right? Caldwell Pope. Yeah, I think I would put him ahead of Caldwell Pope for sure. Jordan Poole, Jordan Poole didn't have the greatest year, but he still averaged 17. His field goal percentage was terrible though. Jaden Ivey, he's young guns. Alex Caruso, All NBA defensive team. I forgot about him. So OKC gonna start him. So Dort's coming off the bench. So yeah, Jalen Williams will definitely be a 3. I forgot about Caruso. RJ is more of a small forward. I don't know who Toronto has, and I don't care to look it up. But if RJ is a small forward, that means they got Scotty Barnes at the 4. And who's going to be at the 2? Do they still got Gary Trent Jr.? I think Gary Trent Jr. was a free agent who signed somewhere else, right? I can't even remember where he signed. Who they got at the 2 guard? I don't even remember who Toronto has at the 2 guard. They made so many changes, and that team is just not good. So I don't really care. I know Quickly's the point guard for sure. Maybe RJ is a small forward. Maybe RJ is a small forward. Oh, but I'm telling you right now, if this kid is healthy, this kid right here, Shaedon Sharpe is the truth, y'all. Let me tell you something. This kid, Shaedon Sharpe, is nasty, bro. He low-key is the best guard on Portland. I don't care what nobody tell me. He low-key, he might not get the same opportunities because, Scooter Henderson was a second pick, and they got Anthony Simons who was putting in work. They had Brogdon, but they traded him. But this kid, Shaedon Sharpe, to me, 6'6", athletic, plays defense. Yeah, he's a problem, bro. Buddy Hield. Yeah, so you can see the list kind of falls apart. But so I'm guessing you guys don't feel Donte was slighted. I kind of think that because once you shift it around, 15, 16 is right because his own teammate Mikal Bridges I would put over Donte, and I would put who else I would put over him? That's not there. They got Paul George. I'm not gonna put Paul George over him. Kyrie though. Was Kyrie on this list? I don't think Kyrie was on this list, right? Yeah, I would put Kyrie over him because Kyrie's the 2 guard with Luka. Right? So Mikal, Kyrie. It's a lot of nice 2 guards in the league though, too. Ooh, what about Benedict Mathurin? He's nice too. I can't front on him. Benedict Mathurin is nice. Terry Rozier. Scary Terry. He's technically a 2 because Hero is the 1. Let me see what else I want to go and get into before we wrap up. I talked about Donte. I just want to see if there's any more hot button topics. We talked about Brunson. We talked about Melo. What else we talked about? Steve Kerr. Okay. I'm going to jump in the word on the street, y'all. We didn't talk about Noah Lyles. That Noah Lyles dude is kind of disrespectful, bro. He's kind of disrespectful. If you guys don't know who Noah Lyles is, you should. He's a guy that's hated by damn near everybody else who's not on the track and field team. But I'm not going to say hated. He's disliked because he be saying some off-the-wall stuff, especially about the NBA. He was the guy that was talking about, the NBA championship is not a world championship because you don't compete against the world. Well, we just competed against the world, and we won gold with a lot of those guys that were in the NBA, right? Team France had a bunch of NBA guys. So this guy, Noah Lyles, who's trying to get a sneaker deal with Adidas, he says some interesting things about Ant-Man, right? Let me see if I get the exact quote. So Lyles, basically, Adidas invited him to an Anthony Edwards shoe release, right? And the goal is to work Noah Lyles in there to hopefully get him a shoe deal. So when you sign with a sneaker company, right, you typically, you get, you support the other guys that have sneakers. So you want to do what, says Lyles? You want to invite me to an event for a man who's not even been to the NBA Finals. Noah Lyles, why are you concerned about NBA Finals, bro? It's not the World Championships. Why are you concerned about that? In a sport that you don't even care about, and you're giving him a shoe. No disrespect. The man is an amazing athlete. He's having one heck of a year. I love that they saw the insight and gave him a shoe because they saw that he was going to be big. All I'm saying is, how could you not see that for me? This guy actually said that. He actually said that about Ant-Man. Right? And then Jalen Brunson said something. Damn, I thought this was Centel. Now, Centel, not sure how many of you guys know it, but Centel is a parody website. So Jalen Brunson commented on that. But, yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, I don't understand Noah Lyles. I'm going to say Noah Lyles, you dropped the ball in a couple of your races, right? I think he got 1 gold medal this year. Why are you talking about the NBA? And we just won the World Cup. The Olympics and got the gold. Ant-Man got the gold. So he is a champion. He shouldn't have said that. But yeah, Noah Lyles, he be saying some wild stuff. Dude's coming for his head. But Steph Curry said what I thought too, that it was NBA, it was Centel, which is a parody site that puts up fake news. All right, so we're going to end on Word on the Street, y'all. I'm just going to do a couple of polls. We did Jericho Sims already. We'll do this. We touched on that during the pod. I don't want to talk about Julius Randle right now. Too much mystery. I'll start here. So the head of the Knicks Brain Trust, Leon Rose, reached out regarding to the prospects of signing French big man Matthias Lesort, but they couldn't reach an agreement. How do you think he would have done as a Knick big? So how do you think this guy would have done? This is not the other guy with the fro. Lasser, what is his name? Lasser. This is not that guy, right? This is the other guy with the braids who actually put in work. This guy here, he put in work. He had a really good game in the Olympics, right? So honestly, I think he would be a bench warmer at best. So 43% say he would be the backup guard. What these guys don't understand is that these guys already been through the NBA. I think he played with Philly G League team or something like that. So we already seen him already. He just didn't really pan out. They go overseas to FIBA, put in work, and then everybody goes, oh, these guys are interesting. We should get them. But these guys already played in the NBA. It's a reason why some guys are not in the league. Now, I'm not saying he didn't get better and he wouldn't put in work. I just think he would be a bench warmer. Minutes through injuries, 31%. And I put bench warmer at best, 16%. 9% say they don't know. Salute to the 9% that say they don't know. And this was today's poll. We kind of talked about this, so I'll do this poll. 144 votes, right? Julius Randle. Jalen Brunson, third best point guard in the league, behind Luka SGA. Did they get it right? Where do you rank Brunson? I'm gonna say top 3. 70% of fans agree. They say top 3. 19% think he's the best. Salute to you guys that say Jalen Brunson is the best. Because I will say this. If JB gets us to that championship, he will be the best. That's what it's going to take. He gets us to a championship, he will be the best. So I'm riding with the 19%, though I say top 3 because I got to respect what Luka and SGA has done on an individual level. We're talking about guys, at least Luka damn near triple-double. SGA, he's solid 30s. He gets, 8, 9 assists, about 6, 7 rebounds. Yeah, he's a beast. 10% say top 10. 10% say top 5. 2% say top 10. Why? Where are these people talking about top 10? You got Jalen Brunson top 10 and not top 5? You wild. All right? Let me see what you guys saying, and we're going to wrap up. Sam says, something is wrong with Noah Lyles' brain. Facts. And we'll end it on that, man. Thank you guys for rocking with me, man. I really do appreciate the support and the love. I guess next time I'll open up the chat. I just wanted to put in a subscribers mode because sometimes I just want to talk to you guys, man. The guys that support the channel, the level-headed Knicks fans, man. And if you are listening and you're not subscribed, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button so more Knicks fans can check out this video. I'm trying to see about level-headed Knicks talk this week. I might push it back to next week. Not a lot of topics, and I do have plans on Wednesday night. So I got to see about level-headed Knicks talk. I will let you guys know. But at least we got the pod in, right? I'm going to give you at least one. My goal is to give you both. But I got to see what the deal is. Something happens. We're still waiting on Julius Randle. A lot of stuff going on. Definitely make sure to get inside that Discord server. www.theobjectiveknicksfan.com. Click the link in the description. Click the link in the chat. Get inside the Discord server. Knicks Tape Madness. We have a 24/7 Knicks chat. Me, Sam, Coach, a couple other people. We go up in there. We have great conversations. And definitely looking to expand the community. We also have the free Knick hat giveaway. Definitely check that out. All the details are in the Discord server. So with that being said, thank you for rocking with me, man. And until next time, y'all, let's go Knicks.